We wonder why so many people recoil away from us. They don't recoil away from us because of the color of our skin. That's foolish. They recoil away from us because our culture sucks. And I know that's a lot for a lot of people to take in because we're supposed to be nice. We live in a very PC culture,
Yeah.
but you're not going to get that from me. Our culture, black culture, sucks. It just does. Nobody wants to live around it. We have to look at how black culture has so put an impression in people's minds that that's something they want to get away from and not something that they want to be associated with. It's 100% cultural. The fact is, black culture today is in such shams that it causes people to recoil away from it. Before the 1960s, the man to aspire to be in the black community was the pastor, the entrepreneur, and the father. Those were the three.
Wow.
What we've managed to do since the 60s, going into the 70s, there was something called blaxploitation films. Blaxploitation films were films that glorified things that used to be taboo in black culture, namely pimping, hustling, drug selling, being a degenerate. They glorified all these things in the 70s films. And it wasn't something that the whites or the Jews were doing to us. No, you have black actors who are all too willing to play the part. As you get into the 80s, into the 90s, you have the introduction of gangster rap and you have the introduction of all these things, which are leaning heavy into this degenerate culture. If you look at black and white photos from the 40s of black families and white families, you see no distinguishable difference. They dress the same, they look the same, they walk the same, they take care of their families the same, everything's the same. There's no emphasis on being black and being separate and being different. You don't get that until the 70s with the say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, this kind of black culture, like leaning into blackness, wearing the African garb, naming your kids African sounding names. You have this kind of desire to separate ourselves, to be other than.
Wow.
And what are all the results of that? Well, you see a widening of disparities. This is what Thomas Sowell talks about. It used to be the fact that 3 out of 4 kids were growing up in a 2-parent household in the black community. Now we're in a situation where 70+% of black kids are growing up with a mother and no father in the home. So how do you explain this other than a shifting in culture?
Yeah.
And so where we used to look to our fathers, entrepreneurs, and pastors as an example or as something to aspire to be, we now look to the rappers, the film producers, and things of this nature. How is it that Jay-Z, and I'm not going to knock his hustle or anything like that, but like Jay-Z brags about the fact that he used to be a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? All these guys, like the athletes and things of this nature, they're making a lot of money, which there's nothing wrong with making money. You'll never hear me, talk negatively about somebody making money. But that, in a lot of our minds, is enough to put them in a place of high regard and high status. And so from there, we then look at their lifestyle, and that's what we aspire to be.
I mean, that was a pretty good breakdown of the shift. I didn't really know the timelines and stuff, but I knew how it changed. I think it was way better back then because all of our families were together. Of course, our family was together, but other black kids had families all like together, 2-parent households and all that. But now, like you said, less than 70% have them. Oh, yeah, there's just a lot of YNs and stuff. They look to rappers as their influencers. It's not good.
It was a good message. It was saying that how people don't not like black people because of their skin. It's because of the things that they do. Like how he said Jay-Z raps about how he used to be a drug dealer and how football players are making money, but they're still doing like bad things, and that's why people rebel against our community, black community.
I think I agree with you too, but I also think he was saying like the YT man didn't do this to us. Like there were actual like black people sponsoring it just because it gave them money or helped benefit them, but it was ruining so many other black families. And I don't even know if they noticed or not, but that's what it was doing.
Yeah, they may not have noticed, but I heard this and got excited. First of all, this is a man of my own heart. You guys may know this sometimes, and when the families and everybody, and make sure I make it clear, like my mother, they don't always love when I love when I say stuff like that. But there's oftentimes where I'm like, this is a great neighborhood. Yeah, it's great. It's not a bunch of crazy around doing crazy stuff. When they were just here, we were having that for your birthday. They were talking about how nice the neighborhood is. I'm like, yeah, my kids go outside. I'm in the kitchen cooking. They're out back. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. And so you feel like, yeah, it's that safe. It's that good of a neighborhood. And then, they start to tell the story like, yeah, man, somebody saw me walking and like they were shocked. Like, oh, what does he do? I said, yeah, it's not a lot of black families here. Right. And he goes, yeah. And it's like, he almost like he wanted to lock it down. Like he was nice. Somebody wanted to make sure it was safe. And I said, hey, you know what, Dad, we love your neighborhood too, don't we? Yeah, it's real nice, ain't it? It sure is. You're the only black family there. I don't know. And it's not obviously not all in our area. And there are plenty of black people, but there's also plenty that act a fool. And we walk around and pretend like it's okay. And and this again, like I said, and I won't say the stuff I say off camera because I don't want to get a strike. But I certainly believe in the message that he was saying. And even now, I'm kind of getting hyped just even talking about it. Like the culture is terrible. It's terrible. No white man. There's no racist white man hiding under everybody's bed. And he's certainly not in the closet. He's not waiting right there for you to get that job and don't hire that. No. That's not what's happening. I am sure. Don't look until I look first. But like that's not it.